Hi everyone, I am showing you how I wound up binding my book. Ironically, I couldn't find the binding material for my cinch that was big enough to hold this. This is actually almost 2.5 inches. So what I went ahead doing was I used a ribbon binding. And the neat thing about doing a ribbon binding is it allowed me to do this really nice corset pattern on the back of my book. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't do this many this close, but since I had already done the pages through my cinch with the intention of using the metal ring, I already had the holes punched. So, rather than redoing everything, which I was not about to do, I went ahead and did it this way. The next time I do this with my cinch, what I will do is I will shut off every other hole before I punch it, and then that'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes instead of the 12 that I've got. But it did turn out really nicely, and even as a hardbound book, it is really pretty. I had a good time making it, and it is all finished now. I did the inside. This is the cover, and then as you can see, it went all the way to the back here. It does flip really nicely, even with not being a spiral ring. So I'm really happy with this type of binding, and I may do it again on one of my other albums. I have had lots of you guys and ladies ask me for the tutorial on how I did this page, and I will show you that really quickly because it will only take a minute. I've also been asked what dies and things that I used. I used quite a few of them. The biggest one that I used being the Labels 8 with this pattern here. This is how I made that little fold-out book. I used the Sizzix Ticket die. I use Labels 28. And I use the wavy rectangles. Another one that I use that is in there once or twice is Labels 18 from Spellbinders. Everything is Spellbinders except the one which is Sizzix there. And then the Christmas tree that I did was the really old Sizzix die for their Christmas tree from way, way, way back when. And this, which is the December tag that had all the 1st of December, 2nd of December, and so forth dates on it, is the close to my heart. It's called Cherish the Day. And that was it there. So that turned out really, really cool. I may actually do as the day in the life type thing, use this again for that because I did like how it turned out with the tag. So that's what I used for that. The other stamp sets, I don't have to get up for this, I'm sorry, that I used were these two, from Recollections. This is from, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I think this is last year's. I don't think this is this year's, I think it's last year's. But this is like based off of that Tim Holtz type of look to it, and it has like the reindeer's names here, and all the different Santa Clauses come to town, St. Goodness, St. Nick, and all the names for him, and then Oh Christmas Tree and the carol there, Let It Snow for the snowman. I really like this one. So that's that. On to quick tutorial. This is how I did my page. And it's so simple, guys. It really, really is. All I did was score it at 5.5. 2.5 once I turned it. And then at the 2.5, I did 3/4 inches just to one side. And then back up here and 3/4 of an inch just down to that fold. So here's your 5.5 all the way down, and then 6 3/4 just down to this right here, because you're going to cut this for the pocket. Okay, and then all you do, you cut, oops, excuse me, let me get a pen so you can see. Right here and right here. That's what you're going to cut. Oh, and this. Okay. So this is your 5.5. This is that 3/4 of an inch score out to there. So you're going to cut along there, and then you're going to cut along this 3/4 inch score line all the way to your 5.5, and then you're going to cut up to here. Because I do find it easier, I miter my corners for pockets and such, just because it helps. Okay, then all you do, and I kid you not, it's really this easy. You fold this tab in. This is where your adhesive goes right here. And then this folds up. That creates your pocket. Flip it over. This folds up. Put your adhesive here, one line here. I learned a little trick while I was doing this album. I use score tape, and what I originally thought was, you know, if I do this whole tab, then that'll keep it all nice and tight. It does. However, when you do the whole tab, and you go to fold your page and it's all sealed together, what winds up happening is the inside seals down to here. And when you try and put some pieces in, it'll catch that lip, and they don't go all, you can kind of see how it's doing that. They don't go all the way down. But if you only do the edge, it'll pop this back part out, and it'll allow you to slip your stuff all the way through. It sounds crazy, but it works. I originally covered this whole thing with adhesive, and then when I just did the strip up here at the top and let this bottom kind of pop out a little bit, it wound up being so much better and so much nicer for my tags to go in and out. So just a little tip there. And that's it. That's your page. Now, depending on which direction you want your pocket to go is which side this little cut thing will be. If you want your pocket on one side, this is where your binding is going to be. Okay, so this is where your holes are going to be. Okay. So you don't need anything on this side with adhesive or anything else, because your binding will take care of that. If you do a hidden hinge binding, if you do whatever, that binding will take care of that. Be careful with the hidden hinge binding, because you're going to lose a 1/4 of an inch, not a quarter, excuse me, 1/2 inch, however long your hidden hinge binding is. You'll lose that too with a cinch binding or a Zutter binding, but it's not as bad. Okay, but that's it. That's all it is. And this is your full page. This is your little pocket page. And again, if you want to do it the other way, you can't just flip it, because this is where the edges, and then you need that binding on the edges. You can't just say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to, you know. Well, actually, no, I lied. I guess you can, because you can just, yeah, you can. I lied. And then just flip this the other way to do the same page. So, yeah, you can, because then here's your edge. I lied. My bad. Okay. So you can do it that way. I learn something new every day. Alright, you're all set. That's it. That's all I did for my pages, and I just covered them. I did adhere this part down before I put my piece on, because I wanted it to go over this so that I had a smooth edge to go in. So I did adhere this down first. But I waited until I did all my tags and was done with all my pages in case I wanted to put any brads or anything else through. Because if you put brads through here, you're going to have the little tab things back here, and I wanted to cover those with paper so that my tags, when they were going in, wouldn't hit. Okay, so the last thing that I did for the pages was adhere this one and put in my tag. But that's it. That's all it is. And then from that point, it's just stacking your pages and everything else. I did throw in, I know that you saw it on my album, I threw in a envelope page that I made with my envelope board. Should be, yeah, here it is. I made that with my envelope punch board. You could also just use a regular envelope. Doesn't have to be this one. But this is the envelope using a 6 7/8 square, and that's on the envelope punch board. And that turned out really cute. that's it. I hope you like it. And again, that's my labels. And it's all set. Thanks.